Welcome everyone to HueFin News. Today's January the 26th, 2019. The home of the 2-minute price prediction, as well as giving you all the news according to the charts. Now, next week is going to be a very busy week for a lot of companies who have stock listed on the stock exchange, whether it's the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. We have a lot of earnings coming out, and a lot of focus is going to be placed on how did these companies perform over the last quarter of 2018, and as well as what type of forward guidance are they going to give for 2019. So we're going to talk about Apple today. Okay, Apple is estimated to give their earnings report on January 29, 2019 after the bell. So all eyes will definitely be on this particular stock on Tuesday. So we're going to talk about it today, Saturday, January 26, 2019, to see whether or not Apple is going to see a spur to the upside or a movement to the downside on that particular day. Okay, we're going to look at this article from Bloomberg as well. There's two varying opinions on to whether or not Apple is going to move higher or whether it's going to move lower, and we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to look at the price chart, because that is what we do. We give you all the news according to the charts to see which of these two varying opinions is more in line with the price chart. Okay, so if this is your first time coming to this particular channel, make sure that you do not forget to subscribe to this channel. If you like the content, make sure that you go ahead and like and share it as well, because we're giving you the unbiased news according to the charts. And as well, if you guys have not known, the price chart is the game board that everyone had placed their bets on. Okay, and if you can understand the correlation between the volume and the price bars, you can become a very great trader in the market, because you can read exactly what the majority of the participants are trying to do with their bets. So that's what we're giving you all here at this particular channel on YouTube. So make sure that you do not forget to subscribe to this channel. So now let's go ahead and look at this article from Bloomberg. Okay, the article was written on January 25th, 2019 by Tatiana Derry. The title reads, Apple estimates may need more cuts, Bernstein warns. So already the title gives you the idea that they're looking for the market in Apple stock to move to the downside. Go ahead and see here on this highlighted portion right here. Apple Incorporated iPhone inventory buildup may lead to lower guidance for the current quarter and subsequent downward revisions to analyst estimates. This was from Sanford C. Bernstein and Company analyst Tony Sacconaghi. He wrote in a note to their clients. So already he is under the presumption that Apple stock may need to lower their estimate guidance regarding their iPhone inventory, which can insinuate that the price for this stock will continue to move lower. His analysis suggests that inventory of up to 5 million units and a big drawdown in the second quarter could pressure analyst estimates. Now, the question that he wants, or the big question in his perspective, is the fact that how much iPhone inventory is there? He's trying to insinuate that Apple may have downplayed the true amount of the iPhone that is not being bought and sold, and that they'd be a little bit more conservative actually than what is really there in inventory. So if the earnings report comes out on Tuesday and the inventory of Apple iPhones is more than what analysts expected, then that definitely would insinuate a major drop in price for Apple stock. Okay, so that is the side of the street that he is on, as well as Bernstein and Company. They're trying to insinuate that there is a possibility that Apple is not really giving the public accurate information as to how much iPhones are really in inventory. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and look at the other side of the street and tell that Katie Huberty, she said that Apple shares already appear to be pricing in unlikely long-term iPhone scenarios. So she's on the other side of the street. She is a Morgan Stanley analyst, and she thinks that the Apple stock price from October all the way to this present time has already priced in that type of estimate, or according to Bernstein, they're trying to say that it's not actually priced in. She's saying that it is. Okay. And in note from Rosenblatt Securities said price cuts look to be helping sales of the iPhone XR in China. So even with the price cuts in China, there should not be a lot of inventory of the iPhones anywhere than what Bernstein is trying to insinuate. So we have two people or two institutions that is vying for Apple stocks to really move to the upside. We got one vying for it to move lower in price. The first two, Morgan Stanley is trying to insinuate. Morgan Stanley and Rosenblatt Securities are both trying to say that prices have priced in any unlikely scenarios with iPhone sales. Price cut to the iPhone in China is helping out with the inventory reduction. So they are looking for Apple stock to move to the upside, while Bernstein is looking for the price in Apple stock to move lower. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the price chart to see which one of the side of the street is actually giving us the same perspective. Okay. I will have a link for this article in the description of our video in case you all want to go ahead and continue to read more about what Bloomberg is trying to dispel to us. Okay. But nevertheless, I just wanted to give you all some very important points pulled out from that article that should try to correlate to what we see on the price chart here. Okay. So let's go ahead and stop this replay real quick. And again, you can tell here that Apple on this monthly chart is still broken the ascension line to the downside. So the overall trend in Apple stock is still weak. Okay, we got to keep that in our mind as we continue to push forward in time, especially once we get close to earnings date. The current month, though, we are seeing some inclinations of some strength coming into the market, which vies for Katie Huberty as well as Rosenblatt Securities, to where they're trying to state that Apple stock has already priced in any unlikely iPhone inventory scenarios that can just pop up. Okay, so the monthly chart is actually seeing some strength entering the market. So it is going along with what Katie Huberty or Morgan Stanley and Rosenblatt have been saying. Now, once you look at Apple stock on a weekly price chart, you can tell that we are still coming across some areas of resistance in this particular market. Okay. Now, the market for Apple has already came and hit that $140 price, which was acting as support during 2017 of the month of June. Okay, we are seeing some resistance coming in Apple stock right now, right there at $160. One of the concerns that I do have with Apple moving to the upside is the volume has been on a decrease as this particular stock try to move to the upside. That is not a positive thing to talk about. Okay, we definitely need to see at least healthy amount of volume coming to the market in order for this stock to see a continuation to the upside. So what it is telling us now on this price chart is that Apple stock is coming across some resistance and we are seeing some lack of interest to higher prices. Okay, so we got to keep that in mind as January 29th comes around the corner to see whether or not the market participants are really interested in pushing this price to the upside. Okay, so Apple stock has actually made a pretty good run from $142 all the way up to $157 all the way since the beginning of January. But as I just stated, we are coming across resistance areas. But you know, the price chart on the daily and the weekly price bars are still insinuating strength in this market. So according to Morgan Stanley and Rosenblatt Securities, they are literally on the right side of the trade, considering the fact that there's no weakness coming into the market for Apple stock at this particular time. Okay. The price chart is telling us that strength is still present. We will have to go with Morgan Stanley and Rosenblatt Securities as it relates to any unlikely scenarios with iPhone inventory and how it has already been priced into the stock. But one of the concerns that I do see is that $160 as a resistance area. So as we get closer to January 29, 2019 for earnings for Apple, it can hit some resistance at $160. Okay, but the daily and the weekly chart overwhelmingly tells us that the market participants who are in Apple stock are still looking for this stock to move higher. So we will have to go with Apple stock trying to move to the upside. But I mean, I just want to put you all on notice that $160, maybe a little higher than that, are resistance areas. And looking at the volume that came in over the previous weeks, how it has been on the decrease, kind of puts us a little bit on guard as to really how much strength is trying to come into the market to break above $160 per share. But there's still strength here, so we have to go with what the price chart is giving us, and to state that we're looking for Apple to continue its movement to the upside even prior to or after January 29th, on when they release their earnings report. But it's just a risk probability scenario that is going on. Strength is here, but the overall market move continues to show us that there's still some probability of this stock moving to the downside too, only because we're trading around $160. The volume has been on the decrease. Both of those two things are negative. And the fact that it's taken us 3 weeks just for us to get this one bar right here to literally encompass that one bar. So there's still some weakness present in the market for Apple. Okay, so once we get to that earnings, we have to pay attention to the amount of volume and whether or not we're able to break above $160 per share in order to see a continuation to the upside. Okay, but the current market move in Apple stock is still one of trying to move higher. So that will have to be our analysis. We have to go along with what Katie Huberty of Morgan Stanley, as well as Rosenblatt Securities, trying to state that they have been priced in, but just understand that it might not move that high considering the fact that $160 is resistant. So give us your thoughts. Give us your opinion. Do you think that Apple stock is going to shoot to the upside after earnings, or do you think it's going to shoot to the downside? Let us know with a comment in the comment section of this video. And while you're at it, make sure that you all don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Make sure you all as well maintain your profitability. I will talk to you all later. Have a wonderful day.